Okay, here we are. It's been 1 year since Los Ratones was started, almost. And this is an announcement video and an update video. I like to do the update videos to keep you guys in the loop of what's going on and what's happened. If I keep looking this way, it's to read bullet points of things to talk about and have a script, but there's a few things to get through. So the first thing is the big announcement. Obviously, a lot of people will know this already from the leaks, but we got invited to compete in the LEC 2026 Winter Cup. What that means is there will be 10 LEC teams, us and the winner of EMEA Masters, who's yet to be decided, and we'll compete against... Chatter message popped up. Why did the chatter message pop up? Yo. I forgot to remove the chat from the screen. Hold up. Anyway, let's ignore that. Sorry about that. That basically means the 12 teams will compete against each other, and the winner of that will go to first stand. All of it will be in Berlin, Germany. So we'll be playing from the studio in the LEC, which is kind of crazy to think about. Of course, when Riot reached out to us and was like, "Hey, we've got this idea. Do you wanna play?" Or extending an invitation. I think it's like a no-brainer. Of course, we would love to. I don't know about the specifics of what the tournament exactly looks like, but yeah, 12 teams. Winner goes to first stand, which is mental to think about, that we can compete first of all against LEC teams in Berlin in the LEC studio, but we can also qualify for an international event. Of course, logistically, it's gonna be pretty challenging, I think. Obviously, a lot of the things we do are online. Sometimes we have boot camps for a couple of weeks, but we're gonna have to figure out a way to get our lives in Berlin for many weeks where we can practice very hard and, see how far we can go, really. I don't know how far we can go. Obviously, we just lost EMEA Masters to KCB and came 3rd/4th in the summer tournament. Overall, I would say the year was very successful, though. I mean, we won every best of 5 we played until that one. There was a lot of ups and downs. I definitely think there's so many challenges to having everything public, because a lot of people will judge the things you do, or they will criticize the way you act at every second, at every moment. Everything being public is just an extra bit of strain for people. I mean, when we started the project, it was more let's compete to make content and give everyone an eye into what it looks like to compete and what competition looks like. But that slowly shifted into heavy competition focus, as much as we were keeping up the content. And we turned out, towards the end of the year, putting a lot of focus on being as competitive as possible. Now, though, I think the big question everyone had about Los Ratones is how well would they do in the LEC? How hard would they get stomped? How well would they play? Los Ratones could beat this team. That team would own Los Ratones. I guess we'll finally find out, right? We'll obviously work our hardest for this. I think it's definitely an opportunity that will come once in a lifetime to be able to compete against these teams. Who knows where we'll finish? Maybe I'll look back on this in 4 months and be like, damn, we got fucking blasted. Or maybe I'll look back on it and we'll be at first stand, and we'll have the boys against some of the international teams. I don't know. It'll be fucking amazing. Excuse me for swearing. Sorry. You can maybe bleep it out, editor. It'll be really amazing to compete against them. Hopefully the content's going to be insane. There's a lot of wishes that I have, hopefully, to kind of bridge a lot of the content and competition, because obviously we stream a lot of our scrims. But now I think that we're taking a level up. It's going to be very difficult to stream our scrims. We have to scrim LEC teams, and LEC teams won't want it public. So I'm going to try and find workarounds. I also am trying to find ways of making it so the streaming aspects are involved. Maybe we can have our streams live during the games we compete in the venue, or maybe we can pre-record a lot of the content, release it at a later date with team permissions or something, or get vlog-style documentaries. I'll try my best to try and figure out the content side, but the competition side is gonna be mental. Hopefully I can go to the venue, co-stream the games, be with the boys, and yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be a lot of challenges to overcome logistically and as a team. And yeah, we're going to try and put our absolute full 100% attention into winning. So I guess the one question a lot of people have is, what happened this year? What is happening next year other than this? I'll start with next year. So we'll have the LEC Winter Cup, and there's hopefully another tournament that we can compete in, which is undecided yet. Past that, it's also not decided in what we do after, excluding that one other tournament outside of the Winter Cup. Still need to figure it out. I guess the whole project did start with can this team beat an LEC team? And I guess we'll get the answer in winter when we, when we play in Berlin. So past that, I'm not sure. So maybe you'll hear from me again in you will hear from me again in 3 or 4 months about what that looks like. But yeah, when it comes to what happened this year, there's obviously a lot of NDA stuff, but I can try my best to just say that, well, we spoke to a lot of tier 1 regions. We had some extensive talks with the regions and also LEC teams about possible opportunities or mergers or whatever we can sort out, but it didn't really ever amount to much, and it never really made sense to go in that direction. Yeah, none of the mergers really made sense. So I think without this opportunity, there was a high likelihood that LR would have just kind of called it and been like, that's the year of LR, that's our team of competition for ERLs, and we would have called it a wrap, I think. I think the circuit is quite closed, so it's very difficult for us to find opportunities and where we can keep the content fresh and things, alive. And I'm not trying to blame this or blame that, but I think that what I've learned from this experience is, would I recommend starting a content team that competes in League? No. I do think it could work in other esports when it comes to if everything was a third-party tournament with a qualifier, I think this model would make a lot more sense. But I think in the circuit that League is currently in, it doesn't make that much sense, the model, outside of Tier 2 competition. But it's been an amazing year. Again, a lot of talks with a lot of different parties, and I'm really grateful that we can actually continue the project and compete in LEC Winter. When this was all started, I guess it was all literally just, what can we do that no one is really doing or trying? And what group of people can we do it with that it'll make the most sense? And I think in hindsight, a year later, if you told me last year that it would turn out like this, I would, give everything for it to turn out the way it has. I think the group of boys is great. I definitely think our year was quite long. It was basically 10 months of competing, and I know it's not the highest level of competition, but it does kind of grind you down slowly and slowly. So I definitely think as the year went on, tempers and mood and things definitely got slowly, progressively worse. When everything is so public, it kind of makes it so much harder to have the talks that you need to have when you're a competitive team and say the things you need to say, because of there's so many people watching you, and the way you frame it or, the way you say it might be perceived as one thing when you just mean it as the other, and there's so many different perceptions rather than just the people in the room. So yeah, I definitely think it added that extra strain and did make the year feel longer than it, or feel harder than it was. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed all of the content. I hope you've enjoyed all the competition. I want to give a massive shout out to all 5 of the players. They're insane hard workers. I think they're insanely skilled, and I know that they're going to give it their all for next year. Will Baus buy a health potion? I guess we'll have to stay tuned. But to each of them individually, I think Baus's growth in the year of competition has been so exciting to watch. His champion pools were slightly changed, but I still think that he's got his Baus magic, which is always a treat to have in games where he just plays the game differently to everyone, and he continues to do so. Velia has grown into such a strong jungler. He joined as a pick me a carry, I will carry kind of guy, and then we slowly pushed him on tanks, and then he became a mixture, and now he's just a big clutch player, it feels like. Nemesis is just... yeah, he's Nemesis. Crowny is took a bit of a vocal leadership role in the comms and direction and stuff, and Reckless, I think he's grown into such a powerful support in Europe. So I'm so proud of all of their growth. I can't wait to see how they grow against LEC players and LEC teams. I want to give a real special shout out to Odoamne for coming in halfway through the year and helping a lot on the coaching side. Molecule for always being there all year as the backbone analysis and helping us with scouting and scrimming against teams. And yeah, massive shout out to the content side and the back-end side to make this all work, because when it started it was just 6 of us, the 5 boys and me, and then we kind of had to expand, and now we have to expand even more to live in Berlin for a while and compete there and play. So it's gonna be kind of surreal to all be there. And yeah, I'm looking forward to try and give you guys the best possible content. So yeah. Would I recommend making a streamer team? It's quite stressful. I know a lot of people have tried and a lot of people have like packed it in, and maybe there's more to come, but it's a very stressful thing, and it's very, I don't know, you're very exposed to a lot of eyes. So but it was definitely super fun. So here's to next year, here's to a lot more, and here's to a massive step up. Thank you guys again for supporting the Los Ratones. And yeah, I'll see you guys on another Caedrel vlog update very soon.